Hi everybody, I'm Pamela Atwood, gerontologist, certified dementia practitioner, and certified laughter leader. And welcome back to our Confident Caregiver series. I'm really glad you're still with me. You know, I've been doing a lot of pondering, a lot of thinking about tonight's show. And, it is evening. I said tonight, but it's obviously not dark out. It is another beautiful day here in Connecticut. It's our second day in a row of 90 plus degree weather. I finally broke down, and even though it's May, I told my daughter we could turn on the air conditioner. It's been miserable here. But it really, to me, drove home the point of why we need to do this show tonight. What we're going to talk about tonight is actually from a suggestion from one of my viewers, one of my followers. And a quick shout out to Bridget, who is at the Connections Project. So if you go visit her on hashtag Connections Project, you can see a little bit there from some of the work that she's doing. She's focusing a lot on her clients and her residents' artwork, and especially those of whom have cognitive impairments or dementia. So it was really neat to connect with her. And I, a couple of weeks ago, put out on Instagram a request for ideas, for information that people wanted to hear about. So tonight's show is really in direct response to her question. And her question was, how do you continue to pour from an empty cup? Brilliant. Love that saying. And it's so true. As caregivers, it's very hard to give and to give and to give and to give. You know, as many of you know, I also volunteer with the American Parkinson's Disease Association. And in that realm, we refer to the caregivers as care partners. And in some parts of dementia care, we're starting to call them care partners as well. Either way, the focus then is on a dyad of reciprocity, that there is a reciprocal nature in the relationship. So my husband and I, we have a reciprocal relationship. Now, sometimes it's I talk, he listens. Sometimes it's he talks, I listen. Sometimes it's not just about give and take. Sometimes it's about surviving. I figure out the grocery list and the menu for the week, and he takes care of the garbage because, I don't like doing garbage. Those are the kinds of things that there's a reciprocity. There is a little bit for each of us. And together, we make a really good team. When the person that you're in a relationship with has different approaches or different ways of how you've always related to each other because of Alzheimer's or a physical a change or anything like that, what's really important to remember is that there is still a need for reciprocity in some realm. Now, if we're talking about a physical deficit or a new disability, then it's really hard. So for instance, one of the things my husband does is he does the laundry, which is great. I like ironing. I love ironing. Lugging up and down laundry up and down those stairs, hate doing that, don't like it. I don't mind doing it if I'm down there. But keeping up on top of that, there are many, many other things that I would rather do. I take care of the bills. So those are the kinds of things. Now, if he loses a leg for some reason and can no longer do those stairs, he loses a piece of that reciprocity. When we're talking about people with neurocognitive disorders, dementia, you lose something with some of the intellectual reciprocity. And that's when your cup as a caregiver, both ways, but with a physical disability, we're a little more adept in our culture at looking at what else can we do to make up for it. But with a dementia, we still see that as such a medical diagnosis. It's all about the disease and the deficits and the losses. We don't talk about people with dementia and their differences as still having retained abilities. And when I say we, I mean general society. There are some wonderful people out there. Teepa Snow, Dr. Bill Thomas, Bill Troxell, and Virginia Bell. All of these, David Troxell. Oh my goodness, David Troxell and Virginia Bell. These are folks, and Cameron Camp. A lot of the people who I stalk on a regular basis, who I consider to be the legends in my field, these are the folks who have started talking in a different way about cognitive issues and about aging in general. So there's a lot to learn out there, and we'll talk about that in another show. Meanwhile, though, let's talk about refilling the cup, because I hear what Bridget is saying. I hear that it's hard to give and to give and to give. So how do you fill your cup? Make sure you send me your ideas. Tell me what it is that you do to always keep your cup fulfilled. Now, some people meditate, and that's a wonderful thing. Some people run or jog. Some people are very religious and go to church. Some people go out to movies with their friends or read a good book or listen to Deepak Chopra every day. Whatever it is, it's important to make time for it. It is the most important thing that you can do as a caregiver, because if you're not taking care of yourself, how can you take care of someone else? How can you pour from an empty cup? I found the coolest resource. Actually, I didn't. My coworker, Amina Weiland, found the coolest resource. So she gave me a whole bunch of information, and I've done a little bit of research on it, and I wanted to share it with you. So thank you, Amina, for bringing this to my attention. So in Australia, in New South Wales, there is a wonderful organization called the Happiness Institute. I love this. As a certified laughter leader, I think that we should have many, many, many happiness institutes all over America. Now, Dr. Timothy Sharp is the person who founded it, and he created, and it's available on their website. They have a number of, oh, I spilled some water on it. Oops. Hey, at least I'm keeping hydrated, right? They have a number of free resources on their website. So if you go to thehappinessinstitute.com, you can see a ton of information there, and they have this as well as other things on their website. So this is a daily happiness checklist. Now, I will tell you, if you work in long-term care, I have good news. I used this today, or long-term care, whether it's in a nursing home or in an assisted living or in home care. I was training a group of home care staff today, and in that staff, we were talking about, in that training, how do you give and give and give, and what are the roots that they bring to the job that grow these wonderful fruits for their clients. But if we don't have the right soil, if we don't have the right fertilizer, if we don't have enough water or sunshine, then the roots can't be strong to grow a beautiful tree. Happiness checklist. I love this. I want to read it to you. And this is a daily checklist. So what we did today was we started our training today reading this, and it really resonated. And then I went through with each of them about what resonated most with them. So the Daily Happiness Checklist from the Happiness Institute by Dr. Timothy Sharp. I've reminded myself of my life purpose. I'm clear on my priorities for the day. I've engaged in exercise, and I've planned to eat healthy. Or healthily. He actually got it correctly. I missaid it. I intend to practice meditation or relaxation. I will not accept unhelpful or negative thoughts. I'm confident today will be a good day. I'm hopeful for my future. I'm grateful for the people in my life. I intend to praise at least one person today. I'm determined to find ways to use my strengths. I'm going to have fun. I will laugh and smile. I will endeavor to be in the moment as much as possible. I'll savor all positive experiences. And that's really what it's about. When we as caregivers need to fill our cup, we can get so mired down in the negative and the losses and the this and the that. What we need to focus on are all the positive moments. Bridget, you said this in your post to me. The positives are what we need to focus on. And if you're not finding them, branch out. Call me, ask me, what can I do? I can do consults. I can give you ideas. I can enroll you in a class. You can enroll in our class online and find out what are the things that you can do to make more positive experiences that you can savor every day. So I'm glad that you watched the show tonight. I want to remind you that all of our information is available at www.agingcareacademy.org. I'll say it again, www.agingcareacademy.org. We've just recently updated the website, so be sure you log on. And give us your email, too. We're just about to send out our next quarterly newsletter, so be sure to submit your email for that. Any information on me or hiring me as a speaker or enrolling in one of our classes, it's all there. Also, our blog is under the Your Personal Consultant tab. So you've got a ton of blog articles there to get caught up on too. Until next time, I'm Pamela Atwood from Hebrew Healthcare in West Hartford, Connecticut, and I thank you for being a confident caregiver. Have a good night.